Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Okay. So, yesterday we were discussing
B plus
about
three.
B plus trees, right? So, we have discussed in this chapter, in the fourth module, we have discussed about the important terminologies related to trees. Then we discussed what are the two ways in which you can represent trees: linked list representation and array representation. Then we saw the different types of trees: general trees, forests, pine tree, search tree, all that. Then we saw the different types of binary trees. Then we discussed the algorithms and operations of binary search tree. That is the only programming question that you can expect from this module. Then we discussed different applications of trees like expression trees, Huffman coding, AVL trees, B trees, and B plus trees. So that is what is there in your fourth module, which is about tree data structure. We also have discussed about all the different tree traversals: in order, pre-order, post order, level order. We also saw how, given two traversal orders, how we can reconstruct a tree, right? You've seen all that in this module. Hmm. Now, before we proceed to the next module, let me give you one small exercise question, because about expression trees, we had I had explained what is expression trees, but let's see if you are able to draw an expression tree for a particular given expression. So everybody take your notebook and pen and just try whether you are able to draw the expression tree corresponding to this given expression. Screen is visible, right? Take your notebook and pen and try drawing the expression tree for this given expression. Done? Done? Done or not?
मैम आप कुछ प्रेजेंट कर रहे थे।
Yeah, you're not able to see the screen.
मैम मुझे नहीं दिख रहा।
Are you able to see the screen now?
यस मैम नाउ वी आर एबल टू।
Okay. I said another way in which the question can be asked regarding to expression trees, you will be given a mathematical expression and you will have to draw the corresponding expression tree for that particular mathematical expression. So I just asked you to try drawing the expression tree for the
यस
given
मैम जस्ट अ
mathematical
सेकंड।
expression. Take a minute and everybody draw the corresponding expression tree for this expression. I'm discussing this once again because I had discussed expression trees initially when I was explaining the different types of tree. After that, I have not separately explained expression trees. This is just a probable 5 mark question, so I'm just revising it once again. Done? What is what is the speciality of expression tree? It's a tree which is used to represent mathematical expressions where all the external or your leaf nodes are the operands and all your internal nodes are the operators, right? So I'll just show you the answer. Just verify whether you got the correct answer or not. So did you all get this answer right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, so that's about the last module. About this module, fourth module. So once again, I'll tell you what are the probable questions from this module. One question is tree terminologies, which we had initially discussed. What were the tree terminologies? Root, node, edge, level, path, terminal node, non-terminal node, height, depth, all those were the tree
Ma'am, can you enter checking
terminologies.
room?
Yes, right? So one question is tree terminologies. Another question is different types of trees. Different types of trees. Another question is different types of binary trees. I hope you remember the difference between different types of trees and different types of binary trees. Another question that you can expect is tree representation. What are the ways in which trees can be represented? Obviously, array representation and linked list representation. Probable 4 or 5 mark question. Another question which you can expect is related to binary search tree. That is all the operations that you can perform on binary search tree, the program or the implementation of binary search tree. Another question you can expect is traversals. Given a tree, you will have to write the traversal orders. Another question is given traversal order, you will have to reconstruct the tree. Another question is Huffman coding. Another one is ABL tree operations, rotations, construction question. Expression tree, again a 5 mark question. B trees construction, B plus tree construction. Difference between B tree and B plus tree can also be asked. Applications of tree data structure can also be asked. Okay, so these are all the probable question in from your fourth module. Now we'll proceed to the fifth module, that is which is related to another nonlinear data structure, graph data structure.
Ma'am,
Okay.
wait.
So we'll begin by discussing some terminologies today and we'll go into the details from the next session. Okay. Today we'll just discuss some important terminologies related to graph data structure. So as you all know, graph is a linear or non-linear. Graph is a linear or non-linear data structure.
Non-linear.
Non-linear data structure. Right. So in this subject, so far you have learned 3 linear data structure and 1 non-linear data structure. Which are the linear data structures that you have learned?
Stack, queue, and linked list.
Stacks, queues, and linked lists. And then you learned 1 non-linear data structure, which is trees. Now we are stepping into the next non-linear data structure, which is graphs. So the whole subject is revolving around these 5 data structures, okay? But I said your performance in the first unit test has not been satisfactory, so I expect that you will give a better performance during in the second unit test. I want everybody to get about 35 out of 40. Okay, you will use your own brains and write the answers and not copy the wrong answer. The whole class is not going to copy the same wrong answer. Huh? Now, coming to graph. So you all know that trees are normally used to represent hierarchical relationships, right? Graphs can be viewed as a generalization of tree data structure. What do you mean by generalization of tree data structure? Does it mean that all graphs are trees or all trees are graphs? Which is right?
Ma'am, all graphs are trees.
All graphs are trees. And
No, all
all trees are not graphs? You decide and tell me whether are all trees graphs or are all graphs trees.
trees are graph.
All trees are graphs. That means all graphs are not trees. Is it like that? You decide. Huh? I'm not going to give you the answer. How many of you say that all trees are graphs? Okay, let me see the chat window. Give me the answer on the chat window. How many of you say that all trees are graphs? Come on, give me the answer on the chat window. I didn't ask you to unmute and give me the answer. No. Few yes, one no. Every tree is not a graph. Others? Okay, you people tell me, will a tree contain a cycle?
No, ma'am.
No, right? So are all graphs trees?
No, अगर ग्राफ में साइकिल हुआ तो वो ट्री नहीं होगा.
So all graphs are
Not
not trees. Okay. So graph is a generalization of the tree data structure, but all graphs are not trees. Okay, because trees cannot contain cycles. So you all know what is the definition of a graph, right? You have learned in 12th standard. Every graph is denoted as an ordered set V, E, where V is the vertices, and E is the edge, right? V is the set of vertices and E is the set of edge. So a graph is a nonlinear data structure which can be used to represent complex relationships, which can be defined as an ordered set V, E, where V of G represents the set of vertices and E of G represents the set of edges, right? And you all know, again, you know that there is two primary category of graphs, directed graphs and undirected graphs, right? What is a directed graph and what is an undirected graph? as the name indicates, right? Directed graphs have a direction associated or direction annotated on every edge. And undirected graphs, you do not have any direction associated with the edges. That means if you are drawing an edge between A and B in an undirected graph, there will not be any direction annotated on your edge, whether it is from A to B or whether it's from B to A. I do use graphs. Normally, graphs are used to represent relationships, complex relationships. Say you want to represent the relationship between five cities. You want to represent the distance between five, you want to travel between five cities and you want to represent the distance between those cities, then you will be representing it in the form of a graph. Say you want to represent the relationship between the computers in your laboratory. That means you want to basically know which computer is connected to which other computer in your lab. That means you want to represent a network. All such complex relationships can be represented using graphs. So in that scenario, you may use a directed graph or an undirected graph. So if there is a mutual relationship existing between two computers or two nodes in your graph, maybe you want it to be a directed graph. Say you are representing the cities using a graph and each edge represents a distance between two cities, then you will want to represent it using a directed graph, because you can travel from city A to city B and city B to city A also, right? So what is a directed graph? A directed graph is a graph where you have the direction associated with every edge in your graph. And in an undirected graph, as you can see in the figure, there is no direction annotated on any of the edges, right? These are the two primary types of graphs. I think you know all these things. You've learned this in DSGT also, right? You have learned these terminologies in DSGT also?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Next terminology. We're just discussing the important terminologies, okay? Adjacent nodes or neighbors. You know what is meant by adjacent node or neighbor. For every edge, u comma v. That means if there is an edge from a vertex u to a vertex v, then u and v are said to be the adjacent nodes or neighbors, right? So if you have a graph like this and there is an edge from a to b, then a and b are said to be neighbors. A and d are also neighbors. D and b are also neighbors. But a and e are not neighbors. Why a and e are not neighbors? Because there is no direct edge connecting A and E, right? So what is adjacent node or neighbor? For every edge u comma v that connects the vertices u and v are said to be the neighbors. So that is one terminology. Another terminology is degree of a node. We have seen this terminology when we were discussing trees also. Trees, the nodes in a tree also have degree, but they basically have which degree? They have out degree, right? Because trees have, the edges in a tree represent its children. So trees, nodes in a tree basically have which degree? They have out degree. But the nodes in a graph can have both in degree and out degree, right? So what is the degree of a node? What is the degree of a node? Degree
The
can
number of other branches connected to
is
it.
number of edges incoming or number of edges outgoing. If it is in degree of a node, then it is the number of incoming edges that we are counting. If it is the out degree of a node, it is the number of outgoing edges that we are counting. Say there is an edge from A to B. Sorry, I cannot annotate on this PDF. I'm just showing it like this. So if there is an edge from A to B, there is a directed edge from A to B, then and there is a directed edge from D to B, like this. And what is the in degree of B? In degree of B is 2, because there is a directed edge from A to B and D to B. And suppose there is a directed edge from B to C. And what is the out degree of B? Out degree of B is 1. Out degree means we are counting the number of outgoing edges, and in degree means we are counting the number of incoming edges. So how can you define the degree? Degree of a node U, denoted by degree of U, is the total number of edges containing the node U. Okay, so you can change the definition based on whether you are explaining in degree or out degree. So if a node has degree 0, then it means what? Then it means that there is no incoming or outgoing edge from that node. Basically, it means that that node is an isolated node. What do you mean by an isolated node? An isolated node is a node which is disconnected from the rest of your graph. That means there is no edge connecting that node to the rest of the nodes in your graph. Such a node is called as an isolated node, right? You know all these terminologies, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, could you check the waiting room?
Next terminology is regular graph. What is a regular graph? A graph is said to be a regular graph if every vertex has the same number of neighbors. Or in other words, if every vertex in your graph has the same degree. Same degree means same number of neighbors, right? Such a graph is called as a regular graph. For example, just see these diagrams. There are three types of regular graphs which are shown. Zero regular graph. Zero regular graph means what? Every node in your graph has degree 0. That means basically every node does not have any neighbor. Every node in your graph is an isolated node. So in the zero regular graph, you can see all nodes are isolated. None of the nodes have a neighbor. So it's a zero regular graph. This is a one regular graph. That means every node in your graph has exactly one neighbor, or every node has exactly the degree exactly 1. So this is a one regular graph. Now the third diagram demonstrates a two regular graph. So here every node is having exactly two neighbors, or you can say the degree of every node is 2. So what is a regular graph? A graph is said to be a regular graph if every vertex has the same number of neighbors or every vertex has the same degree. Clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next terminology is path. We have also discussed path in relation to tree. It's the same meaning over here. A path, what is path? A path is a path from one source to a destination node, right? From a source node, the path that you take from a source node to a destination node is what is called as path. So you can define it scientifically as a path denoted by P is equal to V0, V1, V2, etc. Vn. So that means you're basically going from V0 to Vn. So V0 is your source vertex and Vn is your destination vertex. So your path from V0 to Vn is defined as a sequence of nodes. Every path is defined as a sequence of nodes. Suppose you want to go from, say in this graph, you want to go from A to E and you are taking the path A, B, C, E. So then you will be writing the path as P is equal to A, B, A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, E. That means A is your origin or your source vertex and the last vertex A, B, C, E. E is your destination vertex. So path can be written as a sequence of vertices where your first vertex will be your source vertex and the last vertex would be your destination vertex. Okay, that's a path. Now path can be of two types. It can be a simple path or it can be a closed path. What do you mean by a closed path? Closed path means obviously you get the impression of a cycle, right? A path P is known as a closed path if the edge has the same endpoints. That means you're starting from a vertex and you are ending at the same vertex. So basically your path starts from the same vertex, a particular vertex, and your journey ends at the same vertex. That means your origin and destination is basically the same. So a path P is known as a closed path if the edge has the same endpoints, that is V0 is equal to Vn. What is a simple path? A path P is known as a simple path if all nodes in the path are distinct, with an exception that V0 may be equal to Vn. Not necessarily equal to Vn, but V0 can be equal to Vn. So simple path means except your origin and destination, whatever vertices you are visiting are unique. So a path is said to be a simple path if the nodes in the path are distinct. That means you are not visiting any node twice, except that V0 can be equal to Vn. That means your origin, you are starting from a particular vertex, you are visiting a lot of distinct vertices and then you are coming back to the same vertex. So your V0 may be equal to Vn or may not be equal to Vn. But all the vertices in between which you are visiting are going to be distinct. Such a path is called as a simple path. Clear? Yes? Yes, now understood, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what is a cycle? As a path in which your first and last vertices are same is called as a cycle. But what is a simple cycle? What is the difference between a cycle and a simple cycle? A simple cycle is a cycle which has no repeated edges or vertices. That means you may start from one vertex and you may end at the same vertex, but there will not be any repeated edges or vertices in your cycle. Such a cycle is called as a simple cycle. Okay. Whenever you have this term simple associated with any definition, path or cycle, remember that whatever nodes you were visiting, whatever vertices you are visiting, or you will not have any repeated vertices or edges. Every vertex that you are visiting is going to be visited only once, with an exception of the origin. Okay, your origin and destination can be the same. So that is path, closed path, simple path, and cycle and simple cycle. Next terminology is connected graph. What is a connected graph? A graph is said to be connected if for every vertex pair, okay, for every vertex pair u comma v in your graph, there is a path from u to v. That means, in other words, there are no isolated nodes in your graph. A graph is said to be a connected graph if for every pair of vertex u comma v in your graph, there is a path. That means you can basically visit every vertex from the other vertex. You might have heard of mesh topology. Mesh topology सुना है networks में? Mesh network सुना है? MESH, mesh. Have you heard of mesh networks? No, mesh topology? Yes or no? Respond. सुना है कि नहीं सुना है? Is there a delay?
Sorry, ma'am. I think मेरा connection गया था. Not. I couldn't hear the last part.
Okay, that means there was some network issue. Okay, I was talking about connected graphs. What is a connected graph? A graph is said to be connected if for every pair of vertex u comma v in your graph, there is a path. I was asking you whether you have heard about the term mesh networks. Mesh suna hai?
Yes, ma'am.
In computer networks, you have a topology, you have a kind of topology which is called as mesh topology. तो mesh topology में क्या होता है? समझो आपका नेटवर्क है और आपके लैब है. लैब में आपके से 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 computers are there in your laboratory. If every computer is connected to all the other computers in your network, such a topology is called as a mesh topology. Mesh topology means it is fully connected. Every computer in your lab is connected to every other computer in your lab. Such a topology is called as mesh topology, or it's a fully connected topology. So what
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
mean? What do you mean by a connected graph? A connected graph is a graph where every vertex pair u comma v are connected. That means there is an edge existing between u comma v for every vertex in your graph or for every computer in your lab. That means there will be no isolated nodes in your graph. Every node in your graph is going to be connected with the other vertices in your graph. Such a graph is called as a connected graph. Okay, so I hope you understood what is meant by connected graph. So it's just like your mesh topology in computer networks. Now, the next terminology is complete graph. What do you mean by a complete graph? Say these terminologies are normally asked for 5 mark question. There'll be 3 or 4 terminologies will be enlisted and you will be asked to just define them. Okay, that is why I'm explaining this in detail. Complete graph. What is a complete graph? A graph is said to be complete if all its nodes are fully connected. That is, there is a path from one node to every other node in the graph. Okay, so it is same as your mesh topology. A complete graph has n into n minus 1 by 2 edges where n is the number of nodes in G. That means, say, if you consider this mesh topology, if there are, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nodes in your graph. So imagine this is a graph and these are the nodes or vertices in your graph. So if somebody asks you, this is a probable gate question, okay, which is normally asked in computer networks. How many number of edges are required to fully connect, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 computers? How many edges are required to fully connect 7 computers in a laboratory? If that is a question, then the answer would be n into n minus 1 by 2, where n is the number of nodes in your lab. So here, what is the number of nodes? 7 nodes, right? 7 computers. So how many edges you will require? You will require 7 into 7 minus 1 by 2, n into n minus 1 by 2 edges to fully connect these computers in your network. Okay, so that's a that's a question which is which has been asked before in gate examination quite long back, but nowadays they don't ask such simple, very simple questions. So that is complete graph. Next is click. Have you heard of this terminology, click? DSGT में पढ़ाया है मैम ने?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What is a click? Click is a subset, right? Subset of your graph. अच्छा, अगर पता है तो बताओ, what is a click?
Ma'am, subset here, like it's a small connected mesh, जैसा, as in separate from the original group. Hello? Hello?
Sorry, I just got disconnected. I was explaining click. What is a click? I'm audible now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So I was explaining click. You already know what is meant by a click. A click is nothing but a subset of vertices from your original set of vertices, such that every two vertex in C, your subset C, has an edge that connects two vertices, right? Just like we saw in this diagram. All these which are annotated in red color are clicks, which is nothing but a subset of vertices from your original set, such that there is an edge between every vertex. Right? So that is click. Next terminology is labeled graph or weighted graph. This is a very important terminology because most of the graphs, wherever we use graphs, in computer networks or in in recommendation systems, in Facebook, we use graphs for implementing recommendation systems. You know what is meant by recommendation system, right? In Facebook, you have your mutual friend recommendations. In most of the recommendation systems, we use this graph data structure to, to represent all these complex relationships. So at that time, when you're representing a network or anything which involves a recommendation system, we have something called as labeled graph or weighted graph. So this weight might be the cost of traversing from one node to another, or any important parameter associated with your object under consideration. So what is a labeled graph or weighted graph? A graph is said to be labeled or weighted if every edge in the graph is assigned some data or some weight which indicates the cost of traversing from that edge. So you want to travel from A to E. Then the cost, whatever is annotated on this edges, might be the cost incurred for you to travel from your source vertex to your destination vertex. So what is a labeled or weighted graph? A graph where every edge is annotated with some data or weight which might indicate the cost of traversing from that edge, from that source vertex to your destination vertex. I'm audible, right?
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Ma'am, you are not sharing your screen probably.
I have shared my, okay.
We are not able to see anything.
I'll share it once again. Okay, I was talking about labeled graph or weighted graph. You all know what is meant by a labeled or weighted graph, right? You were able to hear the explanation, correct?
Yes, ma'am. But could you repeat
Yes,
once
ma'am.
again?
I said a labeled graph or weighted. Whenever we use graph data structure, most of the time we use labeled graphs or weighted graphs only. So every edge will have some associated value annotated on it, like this, as you can see in the figure. And that value is in most cases the cost of traversing from one vertex to another or from one node to another. The cost of traversing. Suppose this is a network of computers. So the weight which is annotated on this edge might be the time taken for a packet of data to traverse from this node to another node. So most of the times the data or weight which is annotated on these edges is the cost of traversing from one edge to another. Right? Such a graph is called as a weighted graph or a labeled graph. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, what do you mean by multiple edges? Another important terminology. Multiple edges means if there are multiple edges for you to traverse from one node to another node. Say you have a path like this, A to B. Apart from this path, you have one more one more parallel path running from A to B. Then that is called as a multiple edge. Or say you have one more parallel path running from A to D. Apart from this original path which is shown in this figure, suppose there is one more additional path from A to D. Such a path is called as a multiple edge. Okay, that means it's not a distinct edge. There are multiple edges running from one source node to another to your destination node. Such edges are called as multiple edges. Okay. Now loop, you know what is meant by loop, right? Suppose there is a path from vertex A to vertex A itself. That means a path which starts from U and from a vertex U and which ends on the same vertex U. Such a path is called as a loop. So an edge that connects identical endpoints is also referred to as a loop. You know what is meant by a loop, right? Now, multi-graph. What is meant by a multi-graph? A graph with multiple edges and or loops is called as a multi-graph. So a multi-graph can have multiple edges. It can also have loops. So what is multi-graph? A graph with multiple edges or loops is called as a multi-graph. Now, size of a graph. What is meant by size of a graph? Size of a graph refers to the total number of edges in the graph. Okay, so if somebody asks you what is the size of your graph, then you have to count the number of edges that is there in your graph. So size of a graph means the total number of edges in the graph. Okay, so these are some of the important terminologies. There are other terminologies also, but we have discussed the most important ones which we'll be hearing in future. Okay, so we saw what is meant by a graph, the two primary types of graph, directed and undirected graph. Then we saw what is meant by adjacent node, what is meant by degree, what is meant by regular graph, what is path, closed path, cycle, simple path, connected graph, complete graph, labeled graph, multi-graph, multiple edges, loop. All these are important terminologies which will come across in future. Okay. Now, so that was just a brief introduction to the important graph terminologies. Now we'll see another important point which is called as graph representation. Okay, so when we are going to implement graphs in this module, we'll be using some representation. We're going to see what is meant by graph representation. Okay, there are two important ways in which you can represent graph: adjacency matrix and adjacency list. I assume you're familiar with this concept which is called as adjacency matrix. Do you know what is meant by adjacency matrix? Have you heard of this concept, adjacency matrix?
Yes, ma'am. It is a list of edges. Like if we have a matrix going from, like if we have the element going from an edge going from A to B, then there's a one at A to B. If it's weighted, then we have the weight of that element over there.
Yes, very good. Okay. So graph representation means there are three basic types, two basic types and one additional type. Sequential representation by using adjacency matrix and linked representation by using linked list. Okay. Sequential representation means we'll be using a array only, adjacency matrix or array, multidimensional array. Linked representation means we'll be using linked list. So that linked representation is also called as adjacency list representation, and our array representation is also called as adjacency matrix representation. So there are two important ways in which you can represent graph: sequential representation using adjacency matrix and linked representation using adjacency list. Apart from that, there is also another way in which you can represent graphs, which is called as adjacency multi-list, which is actually an extension of your linked representation. So basic आप याद रखो, there are two ways in which you can represent a graph. One is using adjacency matrix. It is also called as sequential representation. The other is adjacency list, which is also called as linked list representation. Okay, linked representation. Now we'll see what is adjacency matrix representation. You all know what is this adjacency matrix representation, right? So if I'm drawing a graph like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you tell me what is the adjacency matrix representation of this graph. You know how to draw this, right? What will come here? What will come here?
0. There's no
0.
edge from 1 to 1.
Yes, let me make it a directed graph. Okay, let me make it a directed graph. Okay, now tell me, what will come here?
1.
1 to 2, 1. 1 to 3, okay, let there be a path. So, 1. 1 to 4,
1.
1. 2 to 1,
0.
0. 2 to 2, 0. 2 to 3,
Only 4 is 1.
only 4 is 1. This is also 0. 3 to 1, 0. 3 to 2, 0.
All
3
0
to,
except for 3.
except for 4, right?
Except
Except
for
for,
3 and 4 both.
yes, except for 3 and 4 both. 4, 0.
All
So
0.
all zeros. This is called as the adjacency matrix representation, which you are already familiar with. So what is our adjacency matrix representation? If Vi is adjacent to Vj, that means if there is if there is an edge from vertex 1 to vertex 2 or vertex I to vertex j, if there is a if there is an edge from vertex I to vertex j, we'll represent it using a 1. Otherwise, we'll represent it using a 0. That means if there is no edge between two vertices Vi and Vj, we'll denote it by a 0. This representation is what is called as adjacency matrix representation, and this matrix is normally denoted by Aij. So Aij is nothing but your adjacency matrix, where if there is an edge between Vi to Vj, we'll denote it by a 1 and 0 otherwise. This representation is what is called as adjacency matrix representation. Similar to adjacency matrix representation, we also have another representation which is called as adjacency list representation, which is implemented using linked list. So जितने भी डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स आपने अभी तक पढ़े हैं सबके दो दो representation है. Stacks can be implemented using arrays. Stacks can be implemented using linked list, right? Queues can also be. Same way, trees and graphs, everything can be represented using both arrays and linked list. That is why they are basically referred to as ADT, abstract data types. So this is adjacency matrix representation. So different types of graphs have different adjacency matrices, right? So right now this is a directed graph. So this is the corresponding adjacency matrix representation for this directed graph. This is a directed graph with a loop. So whenever you're having loops in your graph, say here you can see there is a loop from B to B. So B to B, you can see there is a 1. So depending upon what type of graph it is, your adjacency matrix representation will also vary, right? This is an undirected graph. So since this is an undirected graph, you can see here, A to B is also marked as 1, B to A is also marked as 1. Why? Because this edge simply means that there is a connection between A to B and B to A. So since this is an undirected graph, the corresponding representation will be like this. Wherever there is an edge between two vertices, at all those places you will have a 1 annotated, right? So that is for undirected graph. Now if it is a weighted graph, what will be the difference? If it is a weighted graph, then your adjacency matrix will not contain zeros and ones. What it will contain? It will contain the corresponding weight. Wherever there is an edge, that corresponding weight will be listed, and wherever there is no path, you will have it denoted by a 0. So instead of 1, you will be representing the corresponding edge weight over there. And wherever there is no edge, you will be denoting it with a 0. So different types of graphs have different adjacency matrix representation. Now, the second kind of representation is adjacency list representation. So as I told, it is implemented using a linked list. So you can see there are 3 different types of graphs which are shown over here and their corresponding adjacency list representation. Now what is this? What is this? These are the vertices in your graph, right? A, B, C, D are the vertices in your graph. For every vertex, you have a linked list associated with it. What does that linked list contain? So if you consider vertex A has a linked list associated with it which contains A's neighbors. Who are A's neighbors? B and C. So the linked list of A contains its neighbors B and C. Right, it has only two neighbors, so the last node will have a null value. Now if you consider vertex B, who are B's neighbors? Who are B's neighbors? C and D. So B's linked list will contain C and D. If you consider vertex C has only one neighbor, D. So it will have only one node in its linked list. So what is this adjacency list representation? Every vertex will have an associated linked list, which contains its neighbors listed. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is a directed graph. So accordingly, its neighbors are listed. Now the second graph is an undirected graph. That means A के neighbor के list में B होगा और B के neighbor के list में A होगा, right? Since this is an undirected graph, you can say that A is a neighbor of B and at the same time B is also a neighbor of A. Same thing applies for every node in your graph. तो आप A के neighbor का list देखोगे तो B है, D है. B के neighbor का list देखोगे तो A होगा, D होगा और C भी होगा. C के neighbor के list अगर आप देखोगे तो B will be there and D will be there. So what is a adjacency list representation? Every vertex in your graph will have a linked list of its own, which contains the list of its neighbors. This is a weighted graph. So for weighted graph, the adjacency list representation will also store its weight. So you can see A के neighbor कौन है? A के neighbor है B and D. B and D you are obviously storing. In the same node, you are also storing the associated weight. So depending upon what type of graph is, the adjacency list representation will also slightly vary. Is the two types of representation clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So we'll discuss the implementation in the next class. We'll wind up today. So today we have just discussed some important terminologies and we have seen what are the two ways in which you can represent a graph. Okay, we'll go into the implementation next week. Those who have not marked your attendance, please mark your attendance in the chat window. I'll be uploading the second assignment question today, second assignment document today on Moodle with 2 weeks time. Okay, so keep a check on Moodle. Those who have marked your attendance can leave.